So today is all about elevating your professional standing with Digital Educator Awards Scotland. There are 3 awards and we are going to go through each one and give you an overview of the programme. So just briefly who we are first of all, Digital Educator Awards Scotland is a collaboration between Intel Skills for Innovation, Hewlett Packard, Digital Schools Awards and Education Scotland, and the programme seeks to accelerate high quality digital learning, teaching and leadership in schools and colleges, sixth form, further education, work-based learning, specialist colleges, higher education institutions, community learning and the development sector as well, and support organisations. So it's something open to everybody. Digital Educator Awards Scotland is a national, free, professionally aligned recognition programme that aims to strengthen digital teaching and leadership throughout Scotland's education system. It rewards educators who demonstrate impactful, innovative and strategic use of digital technologies to improve learning outcomes. The award evidence as well is taken from across your whole career. So it's not just focused on, say, the last year. You can pull out everything from everything that you've been doing as an educator throughout your career. The framework itself as well was developed by a range of education experts and leaders and therefore reflects current research and policy in digital learning and teaching. And it also helps education systems prepare children and young people for the wider societal, industrial and social practices that are rapidly changing because of the availability of digital technology. So today's agenda is to look at the programme aims, eligibility, award pathways. We're going to show you a roadmap from today right through to being awarded the award. Emmanuel will be talking through the Intel Skills for Innovation programme, and we'll wrap up with just a reminder of the impact of these awards and discussion and questions at the end. So let's have a look at the Digital Educator Awards Scotland. Its aims is to recognise educators who excel in digital pedagogy and leadership and innovation. It's to support your professional learning as well. There are checklists provided that will support you in a number of different areas. If you go on to register for the award and access the portal, there are a number of resources and websites and checklists that are useful, for example, in using artificial intelligence in your teaching and learning with guidance for both teachers and pupils. There's the Intel Skills for Innovation content, which is a wealth of resources and structured activities that enable you to initiate curriculum-based digital learning and teaching activities. More on that later from Emmanuel. The awards also aims to enhance digital capacity across Scottish education workforce. It's really about encouraging knowledge sharing and collaboration and strategic integration of digital tools in your teaching. The peer review structure is designed to stimulate strong dialogue within and beyond your school, and the evidence required is practice-based and outcome-focused. And as I said, it's covers across your career. It's not just focused on a specific moment in time. And the awards also aim to align with digital teaching practices. So by linking with this programme, you are tapping into key policy initiatives, which the awards are based upon, and current teaching and learning trends in education. And as I said, resources that support you in utilising artificial intelligence. The awards are based on evidence-informed practice. It recognises educators who excel in digital pedagogy and leadership and innovation. It's been designed by experts and incorporates a number of different skills frameworks. Some of these are shown on the slide here. AI frameworks and guidelines, professional standards and digital skills for Scottish educators. I mentioned earlier that the award is for everybody, so whatever your role in education, the awards can apply to you. So whether you are a teaching assistant or a support person, perhaps working in the background as well as in the classroom or leading at the top, it's for everybody. I'm going to go through the 3 awards. There is a choice of 3 awards the Digital Educator Award, the Digital Influencer Award, and the Digital Leader Award. It may be that you choose to apply for more than one award. So you may be in the classroom as a digital educator, but also carrying out a role across your school as a digital lead, and therefore feel that you meet the criteria for a Digital Influencer Award as well. It may even be that you apply for all three, so one, two, or three. Let's have a look at them in turn. So the first award pathway is the Digital Educator, which is targeted at those working in the classroom, doing excellent digital work and wanting to be recognised for that work in your classroom. And this could be as a early years practitioner or a teacher or a teaching assistant. It's not necessarily for someone who is influencing others, but you are someone who's making excellent progress in using digital skills, which are part of the wider school program, and you are achieving the digital skills framework and promoting the framework in your classroom. And this is what the criteria looks like. It's assessed against five criteria: essential and core skills, awareness of current and future developments, enhancing your learning and teaching, communicating and collaborating, and cyber resilience and internet safety. For all of the three awards, no matter how many criteria there are, we ask you to submit no more than 5 pieces of evidence for each of the criteria. And that's really just to sort of cap it, because if you're looking at your career, you'll have lots of evidence to draw upon, and you could go on forever. We want to help you manage your time. So really think about looking when you register, and you'll have access to the portal. Have a look at the criteria. On the portal, there's lots of examples of different types of evidence you might consider, or it could be something different to what's suggested. But there's examples, there's lots of resources and access to documents to download and websites on the portal to help you collate your evidence and compile your evidence. So really think about being succinct. If one piece of evidence meets that criteria and does the job, then just submit the one piece, but no more than 5 to demonstrate your ability to meet that criteria. The next award is the Digital Influencer Award. This is for teachers, heads of departments, digital leads in nurseries and schools, local authorities and other places, where you are demonstrating how you are supporting and developing others in their digital skills development. So this is going beyond the scope of just yourself and your classroom, which was the Digital Educator Award. This is about for people who are influencing across their school or their authority or a cluster of schools, but wider than beyond the scope of their own classroom. A digital influencer may be working across other schools. You might not necessarily be a teacher either. You might not have a classroom, but it's about where you are demonstrating that you are influencing and supporting others in their digital development. So it focuses on supporting others technically and pedagogically, not necessarily strategically. That's for the Leadership Award, which I'll talk about in a moment. So this person is influencing horizontally. A digital influencer may not be in the position of leadership or developing policy, but you're influencing or supporting or training other teachers. And for the criteria, the assessment criteria, it's against 3 criteria for the Influencer Award. And it's about innovative practice, sustained use of digital tools to support and enrich teaching and learning, and looking at impact. And again, 5 pieces of evidence, no more than 5, against each of those criteria. The Digital Leader Award is the third award, and this is a person who is affecting strategic change and able to influence digital policy. This is the big difference between the digital influencer and the digital leader. The digital leader is making policy decisions either in their institution or across schools in a cluster, and they have the ability to influence decisions and will probably be at a senior teacher level, a digital coordinator, a principal or a head teacher in a school. And there are 5 criteria for the Leader Award: digital policy development, impact of CLPL, digital innovation, sectoral policy implementation, and looking at how you are using digital for audit. So things like how good is your school? This is a really high level roadmap to show the award at a glance. So the initial stage is to complete your registration, and I'll be going through these stages in a bit more detail in a bit. Then there's some action for you to get started straight away in terms of agreeing your peer reviewer and starting to review your practice, and perhaps taking part in some of the Intel Skills for Innovation courses. Again, I'll go through these in more detail in a moment. Then the application, it's working on your application, uploading your evidence, and then submitting your award. Then it will undergo peer review and validation sign off, and then time to celebrate and share your successes. So that's very high level, and we'll go into a bit more detail. This is a roadmap just to show you the path that you'll follow. The first stage is to think about registering. So if you haven't already registered your interest, to register after this webinar. You are all attending the launch now or listening to the recording of the launch, and then to register on the Digital Educator Awards Society Scotland portal, and check that you can log in. You will confirm your chosen award on the portal, and then there's a checklist for you to review as well to get started. And again, I'll go through these stages in a bit more detail in a moment, but I'll just keep traveling along the roadmap for now, and then we'll go into a bit more detail. You will agree a peer reviewer to work with you as you progress your application. They also have a checklist that they can have to support them and see what's involved. And you will ask them to register on the Digital Educator Awards Scotland website too. Yeah, then you'll start on the roadmap of progressing along this to review your practice, looking at frameworks, looking at the award criteria. You might attend some training that's available to you for free by Intel. We also have writing retreats, which I'll talk about a bit later. And you'll meet with your peer reviewer at intervals that you agree between yourselves. Again, I'll talk about that a bit later. There is peer and validator training for them as well to attend. You will submit your application, and then it will be peer reviewed and validated, and then it's a time to celebrate your success. So that's just high level in a bit more detail. We'll go into further detail in a moment. As an applicant, there is a checklist that you can download that explains all the different steps, and you can tick off as you progress through the task list. That's available to download when you register on the portal, and it's also available in the resources on the Digital Educator Awards Scotland website. There is one for the peer reviewer as well. So I'll just talk a little bit more about the peer reviewer role. When we decided on the peer review, we were very conscious that one important aspect of school development is the conversations that you have as teachers about teaching and learning. And we really wanted that to be a part of the award, where you could create some space for those professional conversations about digital learning and teaching to take place between you as the applicant and a peer reviewer. And the online writing retreats, which we also offer, which I'll talk about in a bit, also offer that opportunity to have professional conversations across institutions. The creation of this dialogue, both within schools and amongst schools, is what the peer review is all about. We're not asking peer reviewers to mark applications or act as an inspector. We're asking you to engage in conversation. So shortly after you've registered, if you do decide to proceed, we really encourage you to start to think about who your peer reviewer could be. And this could be someone level to you in your school. It could be someone perhaps who you know in your cluster, or someone that you've perhaps met on forums or other networking ways that you might network and participate, and you've met someone. So it can be anybody that you choose, someone who will be able to support you and have those professional conversations with you, someone who you can bat ideas off and share your evidence, perhaps discuss the criteria and talk about what you've been doing digitally. Just someone who will be a good sounding ear for you and listen and perhaps ask questions and provoke or challenge you, and just help you be that critical friend who can support you in developing the best application possible. So it could be someone from another school, someone in your school, in your cluster, a member of your local authority, perhaps, someone that you've met on training that you perhaps regularly sort of come into contact with. So it's someone who ideally knows your work and what you're doing in the school and can offer you guidance. The frequency of how often you meet with your peer reviewer is entirely up to you and your peer reviewer. You might decide that you want to, if it's someone in your school, it might be sort of once a week that you meet for 5-10 minutes over lunch, or it might be less frequency, monthly or sort of every 6 weeks, or it might just be halfway through your application, or it might be towards the end of your application. So it's entirely up to you how you decide to make that work for you. As I said earlier, there is separate training that is scheduled for peer reviewers and validators. We'll share the dates on that later, and it will be recorded as well if you're not able to attend live. So there's specific training if you are a peer reviewer or a validator. And again, just like the awards where you might apply for 1, 2, or 3 awards, you might also be an applicant, a peer reviewer, and a validator, or 1, 2, or 3 of those roles. And there's also a checklist for the validator as well. The validator is likely to be a person within your local authority, and you'll be communicated to later about who your validator is. The validator role is to oversee the process of peer review. We're not expecting the validators to examine everything. What we're expecting the validator to do is to verify that the process was robust and the process of peer review did what it was supposed to do, and that there was some conversation and recognising the good work achieved by the applicant. And the validator might suggest ways that the application could be improved if appropriate, or give some guidance on perhaps what might be next steps for the applicant. The validator will confirm the peer review process was robust and productive and thorough and helpful and congratulatory. And we're asking the validator to be willing to confirm that, and the validator, as I said, will likely be a member of the local authority. I mentioned that we also have online writing retreats, and we have run these previously, and with lots of positive feedback about how they've really supported applicants be successful in submitting their application. We've put these together to allow you the time, because that's one of the main things when you're applying for award, is often blocking out the time and finding time to work on your application. So these writing retreats are a way for you to block out the time, so that you have dedicated time to work on your application. At the same time, have opportunity to mix with other people, other applicants who are working on their application, perhaps discuss your evidence, and also have access to a Digital Educator Award Scotland validator and expert to be able to ask questions and get those answered or seek advice. So they're a really good opportunity for people to come together. If you are part of a local authority, you might want to group together and perhaps meet in a school and then join online all together as a group, or perhaps go home and then decide that you'll all join the writing retreat together. So it can be a really nice way to work collaboratively as well. And if you are working with other cluster schools as well, it's an opportunity to all gather together for the writing retreat. The idea of the writing retreats as well is they're spaced across the whole from now right across until submission date, and they're every few weeks. And the idea of that is that if you can free the time and book on the writing retreats, book on all of them, then it's anticipated that by working on your application during the writing retreat, that by the end of them all, you'll have a complete application. But we encourage you to attend as many as you can. If you can't quite make all of them, or you can't make all of the time, but some of the time, feel free to drop in whenever you can, and either attend all the time or part of the time. You can join later as well. They all run from 4 o'clock till 5:30. So if you can't join us till 4:30, say, or you can join from 4 and then need to leave by 5 or whatever it might be, that's fine. They're completely flexible. So it's just a way to have that support and have that dedicated time. People have said that applicants have said they found it really useful to have that blocked time and really progressed much further than they anticipated by having those writing retreats. So just to make it clear, there are 3 websites. The first one that you are likely to visit is the middle one, actually, the digitaleducatораwards.com. That's where you can book on webinars, book on the writing retreats, access recordings of everything. So if you can't ever attend anything live, you can access the recording. There are frequently asked questions there and how-to videos. So every step of using the portal, from registering through to submitting your application, uploading evidence, there's a short how-to video, and they are really short, sort of sometimes a few, sort of a minute long, that's all, to help you with each stage. Once you've decided that you want to proceed with an Educator Award, you will then register on the portal. So that's the first link there, the portal.digitaleducatораwards.com. And that's where you will work on your application. You will register for your award. You'll select which award or awards that you want to apply for. You can access all the resources there, the checklists, see examples of evidence, and submit your application there. And then alongside that is the Skills for Innovation Intel website, which is optional, but we really encourage you to enroll in that program as well. And there's a registration code there for you to use. Emmanuel will talk more about that in a moment. And that's a really good way to continue your professional development alongside the award application. But it is optional, as I say, and if you don't have time right now, it's something that is available to you after you've submitted your application. So that might be something you talk about in next steps of something that you'll work on later. So let's just summarize. If you're thinking this sounds good, I am interested in getting recognition for what I'm doing as a digital educator or an influencer or a leader. So the first step is lots of registering to begin with. Register to join the program and then register on the portal. And then you might want to think about registering for the writing retreats as well and blocking out time to register on those, and also registering on any Intel Skills for Innovation courses that you might want to do. And you can also review the frequently asked questions as well at this stage. So they're sort of the initial things that we encourage you to do after this if you're interested in proceeding. As I said, the next step then is to select and speak to your peer reviewer, and there is peer reviewer training being held on the 10th of June, 4 till 5. It will be recorded, so if you can't make it live, your peer reviewer and validator will be able to watch the recording. And then it's time to get going, working on your application, gathering together your evidence, looking at the criteria and deciding what evidence to upload and how to discuss how to type in text, or you might decide there's text boxes for you to type in and talk about your evidence and how you meet the criteria, but you might choose to do it another way. So you might choose to use a sway or a PowerPoint presentation and set up your presentation so you've got sections for each of the award criteria and gather all your evidence together in a PowerPoint presentation. Or some people have built blogs or websites and done it that way. So we really don't mind how you present your evidence, whatever best suits you. And you'll work on that. You might attend the writing retreats. Hopefully you'll be able to block some time out for those and perhaps progressing on the Intel courses. So some key dates to note is the writing retreats. These are optional but strongly encouraged. They're an hour and a half and you can choose to attend all of that hour and a half or part of it. And they are on the 20th of May is the first one, and then a couple in June and a couple in August after the summer break. So 1st of June, 11th of June, 19th of August and 24th of August. The peer review and validator training is on the 10th of June, 4 till 5, and your deadline to submit your application is the 31st of August. Now, people generally like a deadline, so we have given you one of the 31st of August, but if you find that you need more time and you're not quite ready, or you want to move to the next cycle, or you need a few extra days or a few weeks, that's absolutely fine. So it's not hard and fixed, but it's always good, isn't it, to have a deadline to work towards. So we've put that as the 31st of August. And the peer reviews will then take place in the first half of September. Validations will take place in the second half of September. And for those of you who were able to submit on time or close to that deadline, then you'll be celebrating your award in October. Just a question that's popped up there. Do we need to find both a peer reviewer and a separate validator, or is a validator assigned to us? So the peer reviewer is someone you will choose, and the validator will be assigned to you. So you'll be told about your validator. It's likely to be someone in your local authority, but the peer reviewer is for you to select and speak to and discuss who's appropriate. Thanks for that question. Okay, let me hand over to Emmanuel, and he's going to talk more about the Intel Skills for Innovation program. And just before you start, Emmanuel, if I can just give my personal plug, I registered for the Skills for Innovation program and have done a lot of the courses, and they are fabulous. I really encourage you to do them. Some of them are really short. It's not a big commitment. Some of them are sort of 45 minutes to an hour. You'll see the timings on them, and they are on a whole range of subjects, online, to be done at your own pace. You can pick and choose what you want to work on, what would be helpful for your professional development. There is a ton of teaching resources as well, ready-made lesson plans. So it's a really useful program and framework to be involved in. And I'm sure Emmanuel will talk about this as well, but there's further opportunities for you to become an ambassador for Intel as well and speak at their events. A really good way for you to share with the wider education community across the world best practice and sharing your digital practice. And also the courses are really practical and hands-on. So often the ones that I've done anyway, I've found that it's part of the course has been for the assessment is to create a digital resource or a lesson plan. So by the end of the course, I've spent sort of maybe 45 minutes, an hour studying the course, learned lots, created a lesson plan, and can then move straight into the classroom to implement what I've just learned. So that's enough from me. I'll hand over to Emmanuel. Thanks, Emmanuel.
Yes, Catherine has been very modest about it. I'll tell you that. For the past, I believe, 5 weeks or so, your name has been popping up on our top learners on the platform. So yes, she's a trooper here. So Catherine, really do appreciate your enthusiasm. I get these updates every week and say, hey, it's Catherine again. Oh yeah. Catherine is just getting right there. So yeah, you're quite popular within the SFI team, and I think it's a testimony to, and it's great to see that it's a testimony to the relevance really of the content. Having educators share that sort of feedback, that sort of confidence in the content is really what we like to see. And on that note, we want to say again from the Intel Skills for Innovation team, we thank everyone who was able to join the call. And this is an exciting program. It's an exciting cohort. And I would like for everyone on this call to tell another person, to tell another colleague to please take advantage of it. Let's move on. The SFI program is really for educators. It is Intel's response to supporting, bridging the gap between innovation and the need for skilled workforce. Now, every expert, every mentor, every person who is a member or an constituent of the workforce, at one time or the other, was taught by a teacher. And this is why Intel is very passionate about ensuring that education systems are resilient and that educators are at the forefront, not playing catch up with emerging technologies, with technologies that have come to stay, such as AI and other technology that have found its way into everyday living, and then with the goal of investing consistently, regularly, and frequently in digital skill building. One of this program is the Intel Skills for Innovation. Next slide, please. The Skills for Innovation program is a collection of content. It's a community, and it's also a platform where educators are exposed to relevant materials in an synchronous fashion where you are not compelled under a timed environment. We understand that educators are busy people, but we also understand that learning is essential for skills acquisition. And we would like to empower educators so that they can better create new learning experience in the classrooms for today's learners. And how do we do that? That is right, completely flexible. How do we do that? We do that by using what we call the SFI framework, which is the skill sets and the mindsets. At the top, you can see four main technical layers. That's the skill set layer. These are the more pervasive technical concepts: programming and coding, AI and machine learning, modeling and simulation, data sciences. Very, it's almost impossible to have a conversation about technology and innovation without any of these four or a combination of these four being present in that conversation. So these are the more pervasive ones. But by themselves, they don't do a lot. You require a mixture of critical, creative, and solution thinking, solution oriented thinking. That is the purpose of the mindset layer. The mindset layer brings the layer that takes these technical know how and mix them into the ability to create new learning experiences. So when you get familiar with any piece of SFI content, you will see very quickly that it introduces you to a variety of concepts. It's not one track. And that's what something we take pride in. I see a question from Mr. Miller about the registration. Is it with SFI or it's probably about something else? But I don't want to digress.
It's
So
okay. I think
that's
that's I'll answer that. Thanks, Emmanuel.
okay. Great stuff. So every piece of SFI content is created using this framework. So we say with a lot of pride, if you get engaged with any piece of SFI content, you will be quickly introduced to a mixture of the skill sets and the mindsets. Uh, Next slide, please. So the SFI program, like I said, it's not just about the content, it is also about the community. And because this is the right audience, there are very few platforms that offer you the type of access to a global community of educators like Intel Skills Foundation. We are over 300,000 teachers strong with an extended reach of 2 million students and learners across the globe, active in over 150 plus countries and available in more than 20 languages. So we will take this very seriously. We have colleagues from Poland, Bulgaria, Africa, from the US region, all over pretty much the globe. And this allows you to get access to a variety, a richness, if you will, of pedagogy, lesson learned, best practices, success stories, even. And then you can share that. And all of this is really free of charge to the educator. The SFI platform comes at no cost. This is Intel's outreach to the education world globally. And of course, something I'd like to note here, and I would like for the audience here to be encouraged to join. We have an ambassador program that is a way of Intel to give back to educators. And we understand how busy educators are. After the actual work of learning, there is also additional paperwork, admin work that should be done. And you don't have a lot of time to get into social groups that might improve your visibility in the educator space. This is what the ambassador program offers for you. It is a community within a community of elite ambassadors who are given the opportunity to speak on behalf of Intel SFI and more broadly Intel Education at conferences, at webinar sessions, at showcases. So they are the best of our best. And we offer them these platforms to represent us in this engagement. If you know about the biggest EdTech program, BET, every year for as far as I can remember, even we've had SFI ambassadors headlining BET events on behalf of Intel. So it is an opportunity that we think should be extended to this group, and we would like for you to be part of it. How do you join? You are already on your way. Interacting with the SFI courses that are mapped to the DEES framework puts you in a very strong position to be inducted into the ambassador program. And like Catherine said earlier, while it is optional to go through all the PD courses, we would we would love that you go through all of them. So at your pace, at your time, no pressure. So you'd have not just the content, but also the context to be able to speak on behalf of Intel Skills for Innovation, to encourage other educators within your environment, and to be exposed to relevant content in the technology innovation space as it concerns education and pedagogy. That is one of the two main content areas that we have, and it's really the focus of the D's Award section, the professional development courses. The goal of our PD courses is to transfer the skills to educators in such a way they are able to adapt technology in whichever learning environment they find themselves, regardless of what it is, physical, hybrid, or virtual. Educators should be able to function optimally, regardless of which learning environment they find themselves, and also to be up to date with trends. We say this with a lot of pride. Every piece of SFI content you interact with attempts strongly, very passionately to keep up with the trends without losing relevance with the noise. I know there's a lot of noise in recent times. So, what we've done is to laser focus all of that noise so that you can focus on what is important. And how do we do that? We've provided a four-stage professional development course, level 1 to level 4. These four levels can be taken at any order, so they are truly asynchronous. And we encourage that you start from level 1 nonetheless because they provide basic relevance. Some of them are actually concepts you already know, but taking them in that order allows you to sort of build step by step basis. And going through these four levels will take you from a place of knowing barely enough to a place of becoming a mentor within the inclusion of technology into pedagogy for as it concerns the SFI content. So next steps, please. Next slide. In addition to that, most recently, as from 2025, we have also created a specific AIPD learning path. Why was this so? We found out towards the end of 2024 that there was a rising concern about how should educators approach artificial intelligence with all the noise. And we decided to answer that question to the best that we can by providing a best practice suggestion and perhaps a great starting off point for educators as it relates to the professional development journey of AI in education. We call that AI in Education PD courses. Currently, there are about three of them, and we have included them into the D's framework. So, taking on any of the available categories for the D's award, you will be interacting with these PD courses. I would encourage that you take all three, of course, at your convenience. They would provide you access to relevant content on how AI can be used to supercharge educator productivity, on the strong suggestions and even recommendation on ethical frameworks to consider within the context of AI in education, and also, and I think this is also quite important, inclusive AI. That AI does not present a widening of the gap for the different types of for different neurotypes, but can be used to create a bridge where individuals of different neurotypes can work together and learn together under a particular framework. So strongly encourage that you take advantage of these courses. Oh yeah, so yeah, I just said this earlier. I was looking at a question, but I think that's for the D's team. The alignment with the D's framework, as you can see, from level 2 to level 4, we have taken some of the courses, not all of them, but most of them, and have aligned them with the D's framework. So you don't have to take them separately. You could just take one particular framework objective and then take the courses under that particular framework. Very quickly, by the time you've gone through all the available framework sections, you would have exhausted a great deal of the SFI PD courses. We say that with a lot of pride. And also, as you can see, if you look at skills for teaching and learning, you would see at the bottom AI in education, AI for accessible learning. So if the question you have is, oh, how do I start? It seems like a lot of content. Using each of these framework categories, I believe they are a great way to begin your journey in the in on SFI. And from that point on, we hope you get the confidence to begin to take on all the other PD courses as you have the time to. Next slide, please. Yes, it'd be great to talk about this, and I'm sure Catherine can also bear witness to this. The PD courses do not come without milestone celebration. Every completed PD course would have its joint branded certificate of completion. This is something we do at the completion of the course. You will receive this particular type of certificates with the different organizations represented in that for both the course completion and if you have completed the requisite amount of courses that tells for a level, you will also get a level certificate of completion. Now, for example, level 2 has 12 individual courses. So, and these 12 courses are actually available in all the D's framework categories. So, if by going through these D's framework categories, you've completed 12 courses, you will receive each of those 12 certificates and a level certificate. Why is that important? I spoke earlier about the ambassador program. You need a good amount of the level certifications to begin your qualification for the ambassador designation. And these badges also come along with those certificates. Now, you could use these badges in your mail signature. You could put them up on your social media accounts to further as bragging rights, of your qualification and milestones. And also on the SFI community side of things, from time to time, we pick from our educators who've completed these milestones within our newsletter and also celebrate them. So we announce this milestone celebration also within the 350K strong platform. So next steps from here is to register on the SFI program. The URL is skillsforinnovation.intel.com. Pretty straightforward. And you want to use the registration code Digital Awards SFI. Now, that code is case insensitive, regardless of how you type it out, as long as you get Digital Awards SFI. It should take you, so that's awards and the S is 2S, FI. It should take you right in after you've completed the one-time registration and then you put in the digital awards SFI. I would encourage that you use these framework categories as a great way to start up your learning journey. It would serve as a good compass as you begin your journey in SFI. But please, we hope that you continue even after the D's Award to complete as many of the courses. They are quite beneficial. And also, we would like to see you in our community engagement on an ongoing basis. Next slide, Catherine. Okay, yeah, so I think that will be that from us from the SFI team. Like I did say, please use the DIS award, use the DIS framework as the basis of how to start up your journey along the SFI platform. They serve as a great compass because there's a lot of content to get through. So it would help you navigate that journey. And then when you're done, you can explore all the other courses, all the other content. I'm available. I would share my email as we proceed. You can reach out to me on the other areas of the content. We have other contents like the Startup Pack lessons that you can also avail yourself on an ongoing basis. So from the Intel Education and the SFI team, we'd like to say welcome again to the D's Award, and we hope to see you continue right up to the end of it. Catherine, back to you.
Thanks very much, Emmanuel. So we really encourage you to register for the program, even if you haven't got time right now. Register and have a look and take some time to explore. You may find that when you are looking at the criteria for the award, you may think, oh, actually, I'm a little bit rusty on AI yet. I haven't got enough experience. And you may find then, oh, I'll register on a course for AI. And you can then use that as evidence towards your development and towards your award to say that you did this course and this is how you've gone on to use it in the classroom. So just keep that in mind. So I've just got a couple, this is my final slide actually, so just to bring this all together to talk about the impact, and if you're still wondering about why you should join the Digital Educator Award Scotland programme. So lots of benefits. I've just mentioned in the chat to Miss Guthrie, who asked a question about the awards. One of the things that we wanted to do, why this programme was developed, was because the Digital Schools Awards are awarded to the school, and you as digital leads and teachers, you're doing lots of work to support that school in achieving that Digital School Award, and then you may move on to a different school and all your work stays with that digital award with that school. So with the Digital Educator Awards, these are awarded to you personally and something that will stay with you throughout your career, that you take with you and will travel with you whichever school you are at. So it's really good professional accreditation and helps you to gain that national visibility of your digital innovation. Successful applicants will receive formal recognition of their specialist knowledge and practice, and this demonstrates expertise to both current and prospective employers. You will achieve post-nominals as well. So if some of you have got a degree and use your letters like BA Hons after your name, you'll be entitled to post-nominals to use after your name. So DSA, DE or DI or DL for the digital educator, influencer or leader. So that can be really useful for you as well. You will receive a certificate, which is shown in the centre of this circle. You'll be publicly recognised on the Digital Educator Award Scotland website, so that can be really good to link to in your job applications and on your CV. You will receive a digital badge, and the Digital Educator Award badge is shown there on the certificate. And as Emmanuel has talked about, you've got access to Intel Skills for Innovation Professional Development Suite, and you can choose to participate in that, how much or as little as you like, either whilst you're working through the application or afterwards. So that might be something that you go on and do in more detail and perhaps progress and become an Intel ambassador. Who knows, I may be attending a conference and see you on the stage speaking or at BET. It's a real collaborative community as well, so you are connecting with peers across Scotland through the D's scheme. You'll meet people on the writing retreats. It's an opportunity to share ideas and network, and then beyond that you've also got access to Intel's community as well worldwide. And it really creates that future readiness. Your award travels with you throughout your career. As I said, it's a real good way to showcase how you are leading your digital education journey. So I just want to finish off by just recapping again on a couple of slides which I shared earlier, and we'll be sharing these slides so you can access them and note down all the dates in detail later. But the first thing, if you're thinking, what do I do next? I want to progress, what should I do? So register on the programme and register on the D's portal. Just a note as well that if you've already registered on the Digital School Awards website, then you don't need to register again and you can log in using the same details. Have a look at the checklist and the timeline. Have a look at the frequently asked questions on the Digital Educator Awards website. Emmanuel will also be doing a more detailed introduction of Intel and going into detail on some of the courses and giving you an overview of some of the recommended courses that align with the D's programme. And there's a choice of 2 dates. It will also be recorded if you can't attend live. So they're on the 12th and 14th of May, 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And as I mentioned earlier, there's the writing retreats, the first one on the 20th of May. Moving into June, it will then be an opportunity for you to meet with your peer mentor perhaps. Your peer mentor will attend training. There's more writing retreats and obviously opportunity to continue to progress your application and perhaps take part in some Intel courses. The same through August as well, attending the writing retreats if you want to, completing Intel courses if you want to. They're optional, both are optional. Meeting to discuss your application with your peer reviewer, and then you'll submit on the 31st of August or earlier, or again later if you need extra time. As I said, that date is not hard and fast. And peer reviews and validations will take place over September, and then we'll celebrate our achievements in October. So just a reminder, the 3 websites that you'll need. The first one is the digital educatorowards.com website. I probably need to change the order of these. So the middle one is the one that you're likely to go to first, and then register on the portal. And then alongside that, you've got the Intel website as well. And just I'll keep that slide up just so that you can have a look at that whilst we take any more questions if there are any. But thanks very much everyone for listening. I hope you're inspired to take this forward and register now for a Digital Educator Award. And we look forward to following your digital journey. Thanks very much for taking the time to attend today.